Hi, and welcome to the Code Maven channel. And hi, Ferki. How are you?
Hi, Gabor. All's well. How's it going?
Yeah, so for people who are going to watch this or who are watching this, my name is Gabor Sabo, and in this channel we are having all kind of programming content. But this time we are going to have a pair programming session with Ferenc Ferki. We are continuing the Rex series, and in this time we are going to set up a web server with the Elk stack, basically. The Elastic Logstash, we won't have Logstash, I think, but Kibana we will have, and we will have some metric bot probably on this server. Let me share you the screen. Oh, okay. Something new is in my Zoom sharing. Okay. Something strange. Okay, sorry. A new pop-up came up with for Zoom that I haven't seen earlier, so it confused me.
Now I see your screen.
Yeah, for a second it confused me. So you can see my blog post, right? There, I actually wrote a blog post on the Code Maven website, doing more or less the same, or that we've planned here, but using Ansible for that. And that partially I did this so I will be able to have all the configuration files we actually need for the web server, for Elasticsearch and all the parts. So we won't have to deal with that, because that's not really what Rex is for. Rex is for our project is now for making it automatically install it, right? So that's the main thing. So that's one thing. And the other thing, if I recall, this one actually specifically is for CentOS. So I'm going to create now a CentOS machine here. I'm going to create a new droplet, and I think Elasticsearch needs it won't work. So it needs to be a CentOS, right? It can be 8.3, okay. It won't be okay for 1 GB server, right? So I'm going to create a 4 GB. I think Elasticsearch needs more. So I'll create this 4 GB. I'm not sure exactly, actually. In one of the earlier videos, I was surprised that it's $6. You might remember that the basic one is $6. That's not $5. Now it turns out that they have different CPU versions here that I didn't notice back then. So there's a regular Intel with SSD, and there is $5 on it, and the default is something else. So, okay, I switch back to this. I have no real option. No, I don't really understand why would these be different, or how much would they be different. I see that this is an AMD chip and this is a premium Intel, so I have no idea what's the difference, but we don't care for now. Right?
Yes, it looks like not just the CPU are different in those options, but slightly the storage. I think just the basic would be more than adequate for the demo or the test. So
it's okay,
let's go with the basics. And maybe just for Elasticsearch, 1 GB would be enough, because we're not going to put a big load in it. But it's good to use a bigger box, because we are going to put the Kibana there as well, and metric bit and Nginx and so on. It's nice to have some capacity, and probably it will not run too long, so it wouldn't be costly.
It will. Wait a second. Now it's it's like I don't mind. I think like it's like less than 3 cents an hour. So okay, so it's okay.
Yes.
And somewhere, doesn't really matter where. We don't need any of these now, so we don't. Do you have preferences here?
Maybe for the location, something that is more closer to your location.
None of them are really close, I think.
Where the ping is low. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure that Europe is actually closer to us network-wise. Maybe, but I'm not really sure. I never know, because maybe our network connection, I mean, I'm located in Israel, so maybe our network connection to the US is actually better. I have no idea, really.
Yeah.
I never tried to So
also for us, even if the latency is a bit longer or larger, it wouldn't matter much because it's not like we are going to manage hundreds of machines with hundreds of services. That's a simple case. So let's not optimize too much at this point.
And so I have this one, and I'm using my own public key because I'm not using this. In the earlier videos, we had this special a management server just created for working on it. Now I'm using my own machine, so I'm going to use my key. And here, I'll just call it ELK for whatever. Okay.
Or Elastic.
It's okay.
Or Elastic, perhaps.
Shall I call Elastic? Elastic. And then 0, 1, so we'll have or whatever. No, just Elastic.
Elastic 1. Elastic is fine because we are building elements of the Elastic stack.
I don't like it to be called ELK anymore because it's ELK only has
because no logstash.
Because there's no logstash, but there is the metric bit. So they're trying to stop using the ELK name, which is I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but I'm not a marketing person. Okay, so that's about it. Now I have here, I am actually in the directory where the source code of the Ansible thing is. So this is all the files there are. So I'm going to probably use the same directory with the Rex files because I already have the file structure created the same way as you suggested also. Okay, so I'm going to use the same directory to create the Rex file and okay, and then
I think that could work.
There's the inventory, the Ansible CFG, and the playbooks that are Ansible thing, but these are all the files that we actually need. And I have don't remember why we have this an empty HTML directory, but doesn't really matter for now. It probably is just there. So Rex file. Okay, and I've already forgot what I need to put there, but I can cheat, right? And I can have one of the examples from here. Yeah, so this is what I need to put there. Okay, let me copy paste. Okay, and we also had something about Perl. This line I wanted to add. Okay, so to make sure that my Vim actually knows that we are talking about a Perl file.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Okay.
I have that in my Vim RC, but I think this should work as well if you have this.
Yeah, it works.
It's just,
yeah, it works. It works fine. Okay, so we have the server. I can copy the IP address, and then I can, I don't know, I can run rex -h, the name of the server for now, the IP address, and I'm going to run. I'll just have it here, so we'll have it on the command line already. Okay, so what else?
All right, so I have your article open, and it starts with basically an inventory, right?
Yeah, just copy the section. So let me go back to the article here. So we have an inventory. We can create that inventory if you think it's important. I don't. Yeah.
My point about that is that Rex also has its own ideas about inventory or provides you options with that. Previously, we just described a host group named Elastic in this case, and we specified what would be the IP. That's one option. But if you would like to use an external file, for example, whether it's ini file or YAML file. Rex also has its own abstractions for that. So based on how exactly want to follow the same setup, we can just choose one that fits you.
If for nothing else, so we'll see. But yeah.
Okay, so
shall search something to see the documentation for it.
Yes, it's in the Rex group lookup namespace.
Rex file inventory. Rex
on cfen.
Yeah, you like to search there. I don't search there.
I mean, that's where the documentation is hosted. That's why I searched there.
Like this?
So Rex group. No, it's not called inventory.
But that's
Rex
what I would like. So that's what I'm saying. That I think this should people should be able to find this answer if they type in inventory, because they might probably come from some other technology where this is the word that is being used. So I would probably do that to have a whatever item inventory.
No, it's like okay. I can just read what it says. It says that read host names and groups from an ini style file, for example. That's the name or the description of the module. Of course, the problem here, it does not contain the exact word inventory.
Sorry. Just tell me which module. The search doesn't work for me. Pod Rex
group. I can share you the link.
Group something.
For example, the top one is already listing you a couple of options. So I just share you one link in the chat.
Okay. Good. So this one that you share. Okay. So in ini file.
Yes. So for example, if it's from an ini file, and there's a file example at the bottom. So we can also use an external source. We can also use an external command or database. So that's why I said based on the needs. We can, based on your exact needs, we can choose what would fit that best. Previously, we did not have external inventory. We just hard-coded it into Rex file via host group. But this is a groups file to look it up from somewhere else. So for example, with the ini file, which I think quite similar in structure, what would be Ansible's ini file.
Yeah, I used here actually a YAML file, but
then we can also use a YAML one.
So maybe I'll have here a YAML
instead of ini YAML. Yes.
Yeah.
That should work similarly.
Okay, so that's it's called my groups YAML, or it doesn't make it. Oh, then I read it.
I would say inventory YAML, but you already have a file like that.
And it looks different?
Yes, it's a different structure.
It looks a little bit different. Okay.
Or call it Rex inventory, or Rex it hostgroups.yaml.
Okay, and I'll have like this.
Basically, yes.
And instead of this, of course,
you either put the IP address there, or it can be a name, but you have to ensure that the name is resolved. But it should be good. And this is a
right.
Okay, so now we have a group named Elastic and a host named Elastic. Let's just keep that in mind. If it becomes confusing, we will change one of those.
Okay, I'm already changing it.
Okay.
Can I use elk? No.
Naming is hard.
Demo. Okay. let's call it demo now. Okay.
Okay.
Let's call it demo. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. Okay.
It feels like an environment which we will cover another time, but whatever fits at this point. I think the focus should be on a bit on the incremental development, right? At this point, this is good.
Okay. So I guess I have to add something like this, group YAML.
Like, yeah, in the synopsis above, like we have to use this module and use group YAML and point it to the file.
Okay. So it's interesting actually, because and it's called Rex inventory, right?
Yes, and you have to import this module.
I have to import this one. Okay.
Yes, the first line.
So will it be always relative to the Rex file? Do I have to be in the Rex file directory in order to run all these things? I guess
I think
so,
you
right?
can specify a full absolute path as well, but by default it's relative to the Rex.
Yeah,
file.
but in order to run Rex, Rex automatically looks at the Rex file in the current directory, right?
Yes.
And can I specify the Rex file to be somewhere else?
Yes, there's a command line option for that, -F.
Okay, so just a second, I'll check something. So now there is some. I'll just need to copy paste thing.
Yeah, okay. Let's reuse some code.
Okay, so just printing host name. Okay, luckily I have all the examples here in more or less one place. So I'm going to copy this one.
Since we are going to need the Nginx stuff anyway, maybe you can already copy paste all the Nginx one.
Yeah. For now, wait a second. I just wanted to try this. So we don't need the -h now, right?
But the -G demo.
G I can do, and I can do print hostname. That's it.
You need a target for that. Yeah.
Demo.
And
right?
That's the host group demo. Yes. First connection.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't like me? Oh, okay. Can't authenticate against, because of course, root, user root. Okay. I forgot about that.
Could be.
Yeah. I mean, definitely that's a problem. Maybe there are other problems, but there's a problem. Okay. So we have the Elastic. I can't point with my finger. I need to use the mouse. Okay. So we have the Elastic host name here. That's fine.
Yes.
And now this was my actually question. So, and let's try this. So what if let's say I am here, and now I would like to run Rex and -t, and then -f el key Rex file. Okay. So we have here. That's what I want to try. So it will be relative to where I am, not relative to the Rex file.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Could be improved.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if this is a good idea or what should be the right thing here. I was just wondering. Okay. Good. But that's not what we are doing here. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the standard case is we run Rex from where the Rex file is. It could definitely be improved. Even like I see multiple options. So some configuration option could define the behavior, like somebody needs it relative to the Rex file, while somebody else needs it relative to where I'm running Rex. The overall goal or the philosophy of Rex is that it shouldn't be Rex who decides that. So we already see two alternatives, so probably should be a config option in the long term. Right now, let's just run Rex where the Rex file is.
Yeah, okay, that's fine with me. I just wanted to know. Okay, back to the. Okay, so we have this one.
All right. We already established first contact. Okay, if you want, we can try to do something.
Well, we had the host name, so that's okay. We don't need.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not just the ping that is verified, but we fetch the host name, which is already the next step. That's good.
Okay. Okay.
The ping could be done. I think last time we covered some of the command localities. If we create a task that is not SSHing or it is forced to a local context, you can try to run ping against it.
Right, but this ping, the elastic ping, is not actual real ping. It's not. It's actually sorry. The Ansible ping is not really the same ping as you would run on the command line. It actually connects to the server with SSH and checks is that.
Okay. It's not a big command, but the ping module. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if there is any.
I think we verified that. So
yeah, I mean it's no need. Okay, so we have the Elasticsearch file here. Okay. No, sorry. This is the playbook already. Okay, so let's do the playbook.
Yeah. So based on the rest of the article you have open on the screen, I think there are two major things here. One is all the Elastic components, Elastic Kibana and metric B. They are more or less following the same structure. Like download the RPM file, check if it's already installed. If not installed it, start the service, configure the file, and verify it. So that would be, I think, one topic to think about and solve. But there's also Nginx, I think, as a second step. And we already worked on Nginx, so maybe we can already reuse some of the existing code, which is currently directly in a Rex file. We already started to copy paste some of it around. So maybe if you copy paste the rest of the Nginx steps you already wrote in the previous sessions, we can try to split it out into a proper per module. So next time it would be easier to reuse. And then the same idea could be used for all the Elastic components too.
Okay, so
does that sound good?
We can do that.
Okay, so
we had this one, if you recall, where we had all these conditionals. Shall I copy this one?
Yes, basically the last state of our automation for Nginx.
Yeah, I think I had here a separate one just for, maybe it was, I was doing alone, I don't remember anymore. And I think these were the two versions we had.
Yeah.
And this was probably the file that has we have the latest source code.
Yeah, the second of the search session, right? And it feels like already a good indicator that probably we should put the Nginx logic into a module, because the first version is in one file, the second version in another file. Let's just have one version and develop it there.
So I just copied this something here. So shall I just copy it now? That's what you're saying here, or?
Yeah. So my idea now is that we have the same state as last time. We have a setup task, a configure task, right? For Nginx, and we could put this code into a standard per module. I think I would call this per module as Rex code maven Nginx, for example. So it could go into the local lib directory. Yes, I think that's good.
Okay.
And Nginx.
I just noticed that, and Nginx. Okay. So
it would be package, yeah.
Rex code maven Nginx. Okay, and I guess I like this thing.
Yes,
even if I don't need them because some other thing will turn them on. But
it's good practice. Yes, I would also put it there, and that to the end. Plus one more thing, I would, since this module uses Rex specific like commands and so on. We can do that, yes, but there's a simpler one that you can use in modules, which is use rex minus base. So it's only the base features are included.
And I don't need this arrow.
And then that's it, yes.
Okay.
And maybe we need some other specific rex modules later, but I think that's the starting point for a module, right? You put it into a namespace with the package, you enable strictures, warnings, and then just the base imports.
Okay.
So back in the rex file, we need to import this now.
So.
And I think
this should work. And I don't
yes, I think even without the use leap, Rex would handle that for you.
Would it? Okay.
Yes, and Rex minus T to check what we have.
Okay.
As you can see, there are tasks from the CodeMaven and Nginx namespace.
With a single semicolon here. Or
yes.
Or colon.
Yes, that's the task name syntax to be different from Perl syntax, right? So it's always obvious if we talk about a Rex task or Perl identifier. Also, one more thing to notice, that for brevity, it leaves off the leading Rex namespace. So the task name here is CodeMaven and Nginx. And this is what we also mentioned in one of the previous sessions. Now the Nginx part of the name is redundant. We can just remove that from the module's code, right? So the task name could be simply configured because it's already in an Nginx.
Yeah, in the name. Yeah, okay. I understand what you're meaning here. Here I can remove this.
Yeah.
And here I can remove it. Okay, that's gonna be shorter now. Yes. And and by the way, just remember now something else. Still back to the maybe the inventory. I'm not sure if to the inventory. The fact that I need to be using user root. Should I put it? I can use it on the command line, but should I use it maybe put it somewhere in the inventory or some other place? So.
Yes, you can put it into the Rex file if you are always going to be using root unless overridden.
Yeah, I think I had that.
It's called user and then root.
I don't have it. I don't remember where is it.
I don't think we used it previously because we either put it on the command line manually or we put it into the SSH config. We were not hard coding it in the Rex file.
Okay,
so I mean, that's my preference, is to not hard code it into the Rex file because then it's easier to share with someone else.
Yeah, you're right. Actually,
but if it's only for you, put it there.
Actually, I think I had it in one of the files that I wrote myself alone, both the IP address, so both the host IP address and the user root was there, and then I removed it, and that's why it's not in any of the files anymore, because I figured out that it's better not to have them there. Okay, so you say that we don't need this use lib, which is strange to me, but okay.
Rex handles that for you internally.
Yeah.
Under the hood, what it does is takes a look at the Rex file and tries to interpret the whole story that is going to be included and so on. So maybe sometimes the include order could also be important. For example, if I relying on a host group name in my modules, then I should specify the groups before I import the module, right? But we are not doing anything like that. It's good. Because of that, it internally checks for a few commonly used passes for modules to import. One of them is the current directory lib for the Rex modules, right?
Okay.
There's also a couple of other passes, but I think it's always good to just be self-contained.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, maybe we can
remind you that we started later because we were talking too much beforehand. So we probably won't have that much time for the video. So, okay.
I mean, I have time to extend it.
No, I don't have.
But,
no, I won't
okay,
have.
but,
Sorry.
But let me. Okay, then let's just do the Elastic next. So the idea here is that now that we saw how modules work, we can use the same pattern to create a Rex code Maven Elasticsearch.
Yeah, but let's run. Should we?
Okay.
Or okay. You wanted to run it first, the Elastic. So in this example, first I think I have the Elastic because the Nginx only serves the Elastic. So without the Elastic, I wouldn't even be able to try the Nginx. I think that's the reason I first configured the Elasticsearch.
Okay, so I mean, we can follow the same order, but I think to introduce the concept of Rex modules, I think it was still viable to look at it first. So the Elasticsearch module could be implemented easier now. And then we should review the Nginx module a bit later, because I think now you are using the configure task from the improved version. And maybe the setup task is the old one.
One conf and all kind of things. So we'll have to do something with this.
Yes, we are going to rewrite that part because you have different config files now, and we have to deploy those. But this is already a base for a new module. If you just get the boilerplate from the top and the one from the bottom, we can write a similar Rex code Maven Elasticsearch module and start with that. And I believe I have some echo from your side. I can hear myself back with a delay.
I reduced my headphone sound.
All right. Hopefully it's better for the viewers later.
What I can try to do. So wait a second, sorry.
Yeah, sure. I believe it will be nicer for the video viewers of the recording.
Okay, I think now I can hear you.
All right. Is it better now? Can you hear me well?
Well, I can hear you okay. But then probably won't be an echo, right?
And I don't have the echo. Yeah, excellent. Okay. Thank you.
So good. I just turned on the whatever speakers.
Okay, let's do the Elasticsearch module.
So this one, and then I have to do that. Okay, and I also I'm copying this one because I'm too lazy to set up. Okay.
Yes.
And we need this one for sure. And
we are going to install from a downloaded RPM, so we don't care about the systems packages. Yeah, and also not about the service yet.
No.
So you can just delete the body of this task. We are going to rewrite it to mimic whatever the Ansible version does. If I understand correctly, it just downloads a URL.
Yeah, so get URL is going to download this URL where the value elastic comes from this variable.
Yeah, so we probably should have a row variable like my $elastic with that value. Yeah, maybe even outside. Yeah, or it's only interesting for the setup task, right? So maybe we can also write it inside the task.
I don't remember, so we can move it inside, and then later we'll move outside if we need it for others as well.
Yes. And the next step is we need to download it into the project root. Project root is again a different directory, or different variable, sorry. So let's have a my $project root.
So I guess we need these ones, right?
Yes. Yeah, or it could be even the file spec modules could be used if you want. We know it's going to be on a CentOS, so / is the separator, but I think it's clean if you use whatever is important. Yeah, I mean, okay. What I'm thinking about is that this code will run on the machine where you run Rex, so it will use this file system separator from the running host, not the target host. We can work around that if you want, but right now let's just use the / because that's what Ansible uses as well. I mean, your example code for Ansible does the same. Okay. Let's be in line with that, so it's easier to compare. Okay. And then so later on we can all optimize it.
And this was just. Okay. So now this is the get URL. So we'll have to download this URL to the destination if it's not yet downloaded.
Yes. So I think the easiest to do that is to just run wget and this URL. So basically just parameterize a remote wget command. I mean, no, it's run, and there's a shell command. Use it. Yeah. And with -o redirect the output to $test. Yeah. I mean, that's like quite just emulating what you would do on the command line, right? Which is a good first starting step, and later we might be able to improve that a bit.
Okay, but we probably we need to make sure that this only -e. No.
What I would do is two things. First, make sure that the project root directory exists. I mean, right now we can be sure that it exists, right? But maybe a file project root Azure directory is good, because as soon as you change the variable later, you will need this directory to be present. So I think that's good for safety. As soon as you specify another,
how do I write it? So
just a comma and Azure directory. Yep. With the fat comma, it's directory. Azure fat comma directory. Yep.
That's.
Yeah. Okay. To make sure that the directory where we are downloading to does exist.
Okay. I just don't remember. I would always just search and look it up and copy paste from some other place. That's my normal way of working.
And for the run command, we can also use, for example, an unless option, right? We only need to run this command if the file.
I don't use unless. I don't understand unless. Sorry.
No, I mean, you talk about the Perl unless, and I talk about the Rex run commands unless option.
Okay, sorry, you're right.
So if you continue with the comma and give more
outside the run
to this run,
or inside the run?
Yeah, inside, yes. And then we can write a shell command that checks for existence, right?
Okay. Which
So
is what, same minus E and
yes, yeah,
test, right?
and test, yeah. So if not, exit test, yes. All right.
Should I write?
Yes, let's try it at this point and see if it downloads it.
Probably I have to import it, right?
Yes, sorry.
That's a
you're
good
right.
idea.
Quick note, we expect to end up with more modules in the Rex CodeMaven namespace. So I don't know, imagine if you already have hundreds, you probably don't want to have one line for each of those in your Rex file. There are a lot of modules on cpan that can handle this kind of use case for you, because it's just standard Perl, like module pluggable and things like that. Just for future reference, I think it's 2 Gs actually, right? Yeah.
Well, this one didn't work, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, so with that, it's possible to specify a namespace and import all modules under that, because it feels like a plugin, right? You extend the functionality. But there are also other alternatives. It's just like something I remembered now.
Okay.
It's a good for this use case. Imagine like you automate everything for a company. You have 100 different modules and services to manage. It's probably easier to just import the whole namespace and maybe exclude 2. That's easier to write instead of having hundreds of lines.
Okay.
All right. Just as a tip.
So
yes, on the demo group, we want to run the CodeMaven.
I need the whole thing,
setup.
right?
Yes, that's the fully qualified task name. And let's see if our first approach works. It might take some time. We are not printing any output. Okay, something
and
was
still
not
forget
working.
the manus u root.
Yes, because we did not actually put it into the Rex file. One thing to keep in mind is this warning. Rex, after connection, tries to detect. Rex tries to detect if the Perl interpreter is available on the managed endpoint. And if yes, it can use some optimizations to rely on that, right? Otherwise, it will use more standard host-specific things.
Yeah. So
that's why we have this warning. Right now, the problem seems to be that on CentOS, vget is not installed. So we should install that maybe, or use curl instead of vget.
I'll install wget.
Okay, then package vget Azure present. That's it.
Yeah, but now I need the other one as well.
What is the other one?
The update package DB.
Yeah, okay, could be. But again, it feels like that this vget is not really needed because of Elasticsearch. Maybe it could go into a Rex CodeMaven standard module. But well, right now, let's just use it like this.
For now, that's what we need. That's
yes,
what needs
for now,
it. So,
exactly.
So we'll run this and then factor it out later on. If
yes. But the path looks correct and URL also looks correct, right? Because it's in the error output, error executing this long command. Yeah.
Okay.
Installing
what I thought is So yeah, we can have a separate task for installing wget, or it can even be in a module. But then this task has to depend on that one, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
And I think it's a quite common pattern that there's each organization or use case has their own ideas or definitions about what means a standard environment for them. In this case, it looks like it could be like wget should be available on a system. That's the.
So how do I write it? Depends something I don't remember.
I think what I would do is simply needs and task name, but note both tasks are called setup, so we should find a new name. So no, base setup.
Okay. Base setup. Okay.
Because maybe we will end up
having more.
Adding
Sure.
more and more. Yes. And when it gets long, we will put it into its own module.
Yeah. That's okay. So I just say needs base setup
yeah.
like this. Okay.
Yeah. In this case, the needs could work best, I think, for defining this dependency, because it means that please execute this other task without reconnecting, right? It's like I'm already connected, but let me just do something else first. So that's the needs keyword is about.
Yeah.
So we can try to run that. Again, this pattern, I think is very nice because there's a very easy way to run only the base setup on its own without executing rest of the logic, right?
Okay.
While the setup is a one-stop shop for just give me Elasticsearch. So I like this pattern.
Okay, so shall I just run it again, just so we can see that my phone is beeping. Now that I disconnected my headphone from the phone, now it started to have its own life again and makes it loud. So sudo won't work. Okay.
Yes, that requires a Perl interpreter on the remote in the current implementation. That's why this warning message. But we do use root itself to connect, so we can ignore that. There's a command line option to ignore that, like with minus quiet warnings or something like that, but it's good to be reminded.
Yeah, okay.
So later
we can assume that we have Elasticsearch installed.
Downloaded, yes.
Not installed. Downloaded, sorry.
Downloaded, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So in the Ansible
we just run
example,
RPM.
But you do one thing first. You check if it's already installed.
Yeah, sure.
You save the result of this check and use it as a condition for the next task. That's what we can do with a single step, with a run something unless my check, right? Okay. So the same as on top.
Run.
You want to run RPM minus VI, yes. And we need the $test there.
Sorry?
Do we need the $test, the full path to the RPM?
Wait a second. Why do I have this elastic here?
Because I think you log in with root, so your current working directory is /root anyway.
Yeah.
But in a more generic case, maybe the test works better.
Okay.
But I don't know RPM that well off the top of my head.
Okay.
I expect it would be able to take a full absolute path.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, sure. And then unless, and this is
RPM minus Q.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just put it here separately so I can, it's going to be faster. Okay.
Okay. Or you can just comment out the previous one, but okay. But you need to try now.
Yeah.
And no, you don't have $test available because that's in the other scope.
Yeah. So you say that we can comment this one out and we can
the
comment
needs.
this one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's good. And now it's set up.
Yeah, this is an interesting small thing how you do this when you're running step by step trying to install something. Not an RPM package.
All right, so we should check if it's actually downloaded. But it was giving us an okay.
So I forgot the
Yeah, let's check what's on the server. I think during development it's quite common to still log in, but that's what we automate.
Okay, let me just have do it in another window.
Okay.
So we can.
Okay, so it's just a partial download because you press Ctrl+C, I think, on first try, and the next runs were appending the .1, .2. So we should clean this up and just run the full.
But they shouldn't even start. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should check the condition and not like checking for existence, but for non-existence, right? What is that in bash instead of -e?
Well, let me try here. -e abc. That doesn't do anything here. So is this enough? The -e here, or I need to try to test?
Maybe test, yes, and check the. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so probably I need to write here test, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's run that, check the result, and then we can go ahead.
Okay. So this is what happened now.
Why do we have two of those?
How do I run it in debug mode?
With -d.
-d. So let me remove this Elasticsearch again. And then let's run this one. Oops.
It's going to be a lot, but
lot of output.
No, it should start the wget soon. And first check. Okay, now it's downloading. That's good. Right, so wget, there's a URL -o as an output. Or, okay, I have a slightly different idea. Let's just delete the unknitted files again. I think I know what's happening. Minus lowercase o is the output log file, and minus uppercase o is the output file. So that's one. Was yeah.
That's an
I think
uppercase.
yeah, that should do. Yes. Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah. Much better. Okay.
Excellent.
So we can now, I'm going to enable this one. And let's see this again with debugging. Let's see if it's going to download it. Try to download it again.
Should not.
No, it shouldn't.
And it did not. And it said package Elasticsearch is not installed, so the check is good. So no, it's installing it.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
And it's installed. So system CTL status Elasticsearch. It says inactive.
It's loaded but not running yet.
Yeah.
Good.
What does that mean?
That means it is installed but not started.
Okay.
Systemd itself, the service manager, knows about this. Yes.
Okay.
But it's inactive, not started yet. Okay, so let's check what's the next step in the Ansible playbook. I think it's deploying the config file or something like that. No, you start it first and then configure. That's a bit weird, but we can do that.
I don't remember why they did this. I think I know. I think that the point was somewhere that I need to restart. So here I restart. Okay, this is
later you restart. Yeah.
So this is I only need to restart, and sort of I need to restart when I change the configuration file.
Yes.
So,
okay, we are going to do that.
Let's say later on I would want to be able to update the configuration file, but that case I don't need to start it because I don't run it.
We do that.
So that's why was sort of this separation. I'm not sure if I wrote this correctly, but that's the idea.
Maybe there's a more straightforward way in Ansible for that, but no, it's clear where you have the code like that. And for that, we can use the file command to manage the file, and we already used an on-change hook that when it changes, restart the service. And I think that's what we should do right now. Like copy the config file, but that could be already going into a task configure, right?
Yeah, we can have it separately. I don't know.
Because as you said, you probably are going to change the configuration a lot more often than installing Elasticsearch. That's a different process. It might make sense to put it into its own task so you can run it on its own.
Yes.
That's my mental.
It could have been a separate playbook as well. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, depending on how you write the playbook. I mean, in Ansible, you can use tags to mark the different tasks, and you can have an install tag, a configure tag. It's same pattern.
Okay.
All right. So we should do basically a file command.
I need to
the
copy
source.
This.
Yes, and we need a slightly different order because the dest comes first.
File.
Yeah, file. Comma, and on the next line you continue it. SRC becomes source, and it's We don't need the dot dot because we're not looking in the parent directory, but this directory.
Yeah, for some reason, Ansible wanted, because it's relative to the playbook, it does.
Could be, yes. I mean, yeah, depending on where you store this file, they might have different ideas about where to look for it. Maybe there's even a lookup logic in Ansible as well to look here and there, right? Like in the...
I don't know. It seems that it looks up relative to the...
Yeah, okay.
To the...
I mean, there's a playbook, and then there's the Ansible, how's it called? Modules?
Config file.
Yeah, anyway, so there are multiple levels of hierarchy there as well. But the thing is, we should add one more change to this. Like if you go to the semicolon at the end and just continue, and the on change hook. No, sorry, instead of semicolon, just yeah, one more option to the file command.
So I need to have a command.
Yes, on underscore change. On underscore change. Yep. Gotcha. And it's an anonymous subroutine, exactly. We just service Elasticsearch thread comma restart.
And service.
Quote Elasticsearch as a service name, and then thread comma restart. That's a direct command.
So what happens if it's
and this should be quoted, I think, the restart.
What happens if it's not started yet?
Then it starts it, because the service, if it's stopped,
yeah,
and you issue system control restart Elasticsearch manually, it will start it.
Yeah.
One more thing before running it. I think the setup task as a last step should depend on the config. So it should call needs config. The setup task.
I'm not sure if it's a good idea. I don't know what happens when the RPM installs, because it comes with a configuration file.
Yes, but that's why we are depending on the configuration task to deploy our own and start the service.
Wait a second. So this should depend on the other one.
No, wait, the other way around. I mean, both could be good. What I propose, let's just try it out and see if you need to change it. If you add one more line.
So that's what you propose, right?
Needs config, but as the last step. Because now that means whenever I issue setup, it will do the whole thing.
Okay.
It will start the service, it will configure it before starting it, and so on. That's my idea. It may or may not fit your idea, and this is your project. So it's just a proposal. We can do it.
Why is it not? I don't remember what was that when I ran each task after. So how just not to run.
Okay, I'm not sure I follow now, but
I'm sorry. I had this example when I was running each task after the other, but I don't remember which one.
Maybe you use do task somewhere else,
task, yeah,
or run task.
So why is better than needs than the do task?
Needs defines a dependency between tasks that should instruct regs to whatever I'm connected to, run it there as well. Do task initiates a new connection because the task that you depend on might need to run on a third server or on another group or wherever. So for that, a new connection is initiated.
Okay.
And it may or may not be the same target, but needs is explicit about, like, I already have a connection established. I just need to run this other code too.
So what should I run now, the config or the setup?
If you run the config alone, it will just deploy the file and start the service. If the file has changed, right?
No, you can keep talking. I just read it. So it will do something while we are.
Yeah, so config task will restart the service if this file has changed, right? It deploys the file. If there's a change to the file, it restarts the service. That's one. So that's why it's okay to run it on its own. If you run it again, it will be no change, no restart. So maybe one idea is to add one more command to the end of the setup task after needs config, which is just service Elasticsearch Nginx started. And that's completely in line with your Ansible example, which enables it on boot and so on. Yeah, one more line below.
Here?
Yes. Service Elasticsearch Nginx started. The Nginx started does not just start it right now, but it also ensures that it will be started upon reboot.
Yeah.
Right? So you also have a step like that, like enable yes in Ansible. So now, if you call the setup task, it should do everything anytime, even on a new target. Okay. But if you need to quickly deploy just a config change, you can have a config task, or only the base setup, you have a base setup task. Okay. That's a bit of a decoupling. It's just an idea. It feels good to do it like this now, to me. Maybe you have a different idea, or your customer has a different need. But that's why I go one step back in my thinking, that it's just my preference, not Rex's preference, right? So with Rex, the operator has the opinions, not the tool.
Yeah, I understand.
And
last step we have, I think.
Last step. And okay, you want to verify, which means I would put that into a verified task, maybe, because then I can use it as a basis of my monitoring, even if I want to. So task verify. And this should be a local task, right? So from your machine, can you curl? Or on the remote?
No, that's local. The Elasticsearch is not exposed at this point.
Gotcha. Yes, you're right. And maybe you want to print the output even.
So here, what we do is
you register the output and just print it in as a debug message. So let's do that. So say run. Yeah.
It could have been improved. Actually, I didn't know, I think, in Ansible how to verify that it's whatever. So here we can verify that it's, I mean, that we get back an exit code, at least that some content we get back that's aligned, that goes with the.
Yes.
Okay, I did it in one of my other Rex files.
On the top, this is a module which only have used Rex base, but in the Rex file, we specified exec auto die feature flag, which means if this run fails, meaning curl, for example, fails with an exit code different than 0, then Rex will be very loud about that. Oh, this has failed. Right?
Okay.
So that's already good.
Here it's auto die. Oh,
yes,
so is
exec auto die.
So I need it to the other one, or just that's?
No. You enabled it in your Rex file, so it's in effect for your included modules.
Okay. So now I can just run verify, right?
Yes. And if it has curl installed.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see that. It still doesn't have Pro though. Yeah, so we got back some response here.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
We could have used curl instead of wget for downloading the.
Yes, for example, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Quick remark about that. This also feels like if you need to do it a lot, like on the managed machines, download URLs, right, and save it in a specific directory, but only if it's not there. It feels like, again, some kind of module even, or at least a subroutine that you can call with parameters. But right now, it was still a single line, so works well enough, right? It does everything we want.
Sorry, I don't. The
Okay.
verify part?
No, the wget part, how to obtain the RPM file.
But you say that you would download it to the management machine.
What I say that in your Ansible example, there's a built-in get URL module in Ansible.
Yeah.
That does this, like gets a URL, saves it there, right?
Okay.
For us, it could also go into a module, like it could be a Rex module, even on cpan, I don't know. But
I think personally, I think it should be part of the core of the Rex, because it's like
or even that. But the point is that it's still a single line here, so it seems simple enough to do, and it's equivalent to what it does. It checks if it's already downloaded, right? Puts it into the directory and has the URL.
Yeah. So I think this line there should be a line, download this file, and it could have a flag that only if it exists or something like that based on this, and that thing should handle it somehow. That doesn't matter. I don't care if you use wget or curl or whatever, or you handle it manually. They call you on the phone, and then you come bring the bits and whatever. Doesn't matter.
That's a very good idea for a vision. That should be the goal. But the generic implementation would be quite hard. So that's why I think it would also be good in an external module as a start. Because on Solaris, wget wouldn't work, for example. Or you introduce a hard dependency on wget, and maybe some organization only want to use curl. So all that opinion should go into a module, and the core tries to stay opinionless. But some kind of feature built into Rex that does this for you, like fetch this URL, save it into a file, is definitely part of the vision. The implementation is unknown yet.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that what I think is in the core should be is this call of download this file, and then behind the scene, it will try, okay, do I have wget on this one? Then I'll use, do I have curl? Then I will use this. Do I have Perl or whatever? Then I use this. I don't have any of them. I'll cry, okay, or whatever. And I say, okay, this feature currently can't be used because you don't have any of the tools that we need.
Yes, there could be a heuristics to try different things. If Perl is available, we can use, I think there's a module called fetch, which does similar things.
Standard Perl. There's Perl, but
yes, but if there's no Perl right on, like on CentOS, then again it's like, even if I provide it in the core, I will get a lot of feature requests and bug reports and so on, while it's highly opinionated. That's why my opinion that at least first it should go into a module, and when it's stable enough, let's import it. I'm fine with that. Anyway, that's a bit different.
So we have Elasticsearch installed,
but we do have the full functionality of the Elasticsearch installation replicated in Rex now.
Okay, shall we go on? Nginx.
Yes, you mentioned that you might not have much time to extend. I'm fine to extend, so I leave it to you.
A little bit more, so let's hope that in like 15 minutes we can do the Nginx, and then
yes. I see two ways. One is the Nginx and customize it. we already have a code to start with, and we can customize it. The other one is the Kibana and metric bit would be quite similar to the Elasticsearch, so that might be also a good target for 15 minutes. Yeah, your pick.
Let's do the Nginx now.
Excellent. All right, so we already know how to install it, right? There's a setup task.
Yeah.
But we can probably lose some of the ballast. We know it's only CentOS. Do you want to keep the
I don't know. I guess I would
selection
like to,
logic?
I think if we are already here,
Okay.
let's keep the selection logic, because
then
it can be improved later on. Other parts can be moved to be more like OS independent.
Yeah, it's fine. Maybe we could lose some of the commented out code because it's a bit of noise right now, right?
Yeah, we as we go on. So okay, we have the Nginx directory, whatever. We need to copy there the configuration file.
Yeah, so I think we should put the config file.
This is the config file. The Nginx. Sorry?
I think we should put the path to the config file into a variable or something like that.
I'm looking for the playbook now here, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So just we can go over this. We are here installing from EPAL.
Okay, EPAL is a third-party repository, so it's not enabled by default.
Here in the original code that we copied from, this worked, or we haven't tried it on CentOS maybe, and that's why we have it here this way.
Let's try it. If we need to enable EPAL repository, there's a built-in command to manage repos, so I can show it to you. But if we don't need it, we can do it.
Okay, so let's just do this. So this one is supposed to be there.
Yes.
Okay, so that
code with an Nginx setup.
Nginx setup. And I keep running it with debug mode.
Not that bad. I mean, we are in development mode.
Why is everything red now?
I think that's the default debug output color.
It frightens me a little bit. It makes me, when I first started to see it, I said, okay, it's red, everything red is bad.
Could be changed. Could be changed.
Broken here.
Yes, also the error output is in red. So I think the original intent was to visually highlight that, yes, this is not the normal output, pay attention.
Okay.
But still it's not, I mean, it's ambiguous, right? So both error and debug output are red. Maybe it could be different.
Okay, we have Nginx.
Excellent. So we don't need the EPAL repo.
Which is strange because...
We can if you want.
No, but it's strange because I did need it when I tried it manually. Maybe whatever. Okay. So next thing, Nginx directory. The default. So here we have to copy the configuration file, right? So this is the source files. Okay, and the destination is this one. And
but
okay, this is not like this, just Nginx conf, right?
Yeah, so we don't really need the operating system logic from above.
But it's not the one here. Like you see, this is here.
Yes.
I'm overwriting the main Nginx file.
Yes.
And here we don't need this one then.
I mean,
because
I think if you choose not to overwrite the main Nginx file, just put it into conf.d and call it elasticsearch.conf because it's Nginx config for Elasticsearch. On one hand, it's not equivalent to what you do in Ansible, but on the other hand, you wish to.
If it will work, then it's better. I just did it because this is how I managed to do it.
Yeah, you wish to keep the logic to support various operating systems, which is not present in the Ansible variation.
So in this one, I had these two files. I replaced the Nginx conf, and then I also added this.
Okay. Sorry. So yeah, okay. So we were implementing the second one now, the Nginx elk. But you need one more file command to copy the main config. So what I would do instead of okay.
I'm not sure because this one needs a separate selector. Okay, but I would just go for now.
You can delete that. You don't need that. Right. And here it's etc Nginx, yeah.
And it is etc Nginx. So this here I'm replacing the main one, and here I'm copying the other one, which is files etc Nginx confd locally as well. Confd, and then here inside it's called Nginx elk and Nginx elk. And here too, it's called elk Nginx. We prefer Elastic, I know, but for now it's
okay.
Except that I have to decide which way I write them, because now I'm writing one is this way and then one other way. So this is the file I actually have, right? Yes, this is the file I actually have.
Exactly. Plus. So I would say, if you scroll up, yes. So the main directory is always etc Nginx, right? So maybe we can have a variable called my $Nginx dir. No, we already have that. My, I don't know, Nginx parent or something like that.
Nginx root dir.
Excellent.
That would be the conf dir, I guess. This would be the.
And that's the conf dir, exactly.
Conf dir.
Yes. So let's do the distinction. So in the first, yes, the slight refactor, and it will be easier to work with.
Almost.
Yes. So the file command can just rely on Nginx root dir. So it's like whatever is the root dir on this system, under that there is an Nginx.
For now, we only check this on CentOS. Okay.
Yes. And then the second case for Nginx conf dir.
And here I need, should I put here the same variable, right?
Yes, I would say yes. That's what we observed, that it might be a different directory, but the structure under that directory is the same. And my quick question is that maybe we were mixing up things because the FreeBSD and the default case feels like something else. See, 5 lines above FreeBSD and the default feels a bit weird. What is www and w.a? Wasn't that just a group of the ownership or something like that? Or was it a directory?
Maybe, and we didn't try it, so I can remove
Let's
that.
just delete that. It feels like a false promise that we do support the FreeBSD. Yeah. I think it's enough for now. Yeah.
Okay, looks good, I think.
And then we don't need the commented out code.
We don't, I think we don't
That's
have
for
any
that's
we have
for,
a configuration.
Yes, you had a HTTP file.
So we have to copy this one.
That would be the second block, copy pasted. You don't need the first line, yes?
This one just.
Yeah, just the second file.
Ensure.
But no, sorry, you don't need that line to be copied. Maybe put one line in between, an empty line between, and then we only need the second file. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And we are going to give it a different.
And also we need to reload it here. You don't need to reload it.
We can delete that then.
No, there's no need. Okay, so we copied this one. The source is this one. And the destination is.
It's not even in Nginx conf tier, but
no, it's. I don't know why I put it here.
Wait. What? I don't think that makes sense now.
Totally, yeah. I think that's the. Okay, it's a good sign. That soon we'll have to finish this, because now I'm totally just pressing all kinds of buttons randomly.
Yes, relax, don't be under pressure, we can continue later.
Okay.
And again, it's again the wrong path, because it's user share Nginx.
The source is good. The destination is this.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah.
And you don't need that, but we need to. Yes. Excellent. Let's check the Ansible source if we still have more things to convert. Yes, you need to work it as a reverse proxy, like running that command. Set sebul http connect.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have this magic that I found.
Okay, do we try it without it first, or?
No, I mean, we can, but it didn't work without it. So.
Okay. I mean, it also didn't work for you without the Apple repository. Now it works, so that's why I asked. Maybe not all steps are needed after all.
I have no idea how that happens now. I'm quite sure that Rex just behind the scene enables.
Now shouldn't do that. That's a bug. If it would be like that, but I can imagine that Nginx is actually part of the standard repos, but the Apple repo has a newer version or a different version or something like that. I can imagine that.
I don't know. I think I tried to install it without Apple and it didn't work. But maybe I was making another mistake and I fixed the mistake only after configuring Apple, and I saw that's what it solved. That's what solved it. I don't know.
You have the run commented out now. You want to leave it like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And restart the service, but we already restarted here. So.
Yeah, but maybe after this command, it has to be restarted.
I don't think so, but I can copy it, but I don't think that's.
You only need the service Nginx restart.
Yeah, this one, right? This was human.
We now have an unchanged hook for HD passwd changes. Let's call it good. It doesn't hurt to reload. I'm not sure if that's needed, but what I mean that if you run this command that you commented out below, maybe after that it must be restarted. We'll see. If it works without that, we can forget about it.
No, I think that's good. You don't need to restart after. Okay, this was before.
No, you do restart it. That's why I ask.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Ansible, you do restart.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's just the last step. Like you manage all the files and then restart at the end.
Yeah.
What we do with Rex, with each file, we manage the Nginx command.
Yeah.
If you want, that could be written with a different on-change hook. Just get a variable that my $restart needed.
Yeah, that would be the
track a true or false, and at the end we just do it. And I think you can put it at the very top because the very first Nginx conf change also does this. Right? You are reloading after many changes, but maybe the Nginx conf need a restart and not a reload. Right? Can it be?
Which one?
That there. No, you were at the right place.
Here?
That is where we replace the top level config.
I think it, I don't know. I think it, I have no idea. I think it just
still
needs to
reload.
I think so.
Okay. Then let's call the variable as a reload needed or required, something like that. Because we are tracking reload. And yes, instead of that service, just give it a true value. There's a constant in Rex called true with full uppercase. If you find it readable, you can use it. And yes, let's give it a false default. Excellent. And let's just put an if postfix. Yeah.
Okay.
One more quick idea. It feels like managing Nginx is managing a set of files. So maybe that would be even further improved later at another time to just iterate over a list of source destination pairs, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Not now. No, it's like following it's step by step. That's good for comparison. It's just something that occurred to me that we are doing it 3 times already. Feels like an opportunity.
And everything is red again?
With debug output, yes.
Yeah.
You can pass -m that removes any coloring from the output. Quick question, what would be the good color for debug output? Currently, it uses the standard foreground color, yellow, green, and red.
No idea.
I don't know. Blue, purple, we'll see. And colon 81, that was the port, right?
Was it?
Yes, and you have to authenticate now.
And I have no idea what was the username and the password.
Let's check that. Maybe it's in the article.
Where is I lost the here it is. secret one. User one.
Excellent.
Okay. That's the good part, that I know that I always forget everything. Yes.
Okay, there's a bad gateway. Something's not complete yet. And yeah, probably that's that. To me, it even feels like that this enable the reverse proxy feature set step could be part of the setup instead of the configuration. But yeah, I mean, it depends. It's good here. Yay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Good.
And at this point, you should change the password or restrict it before somebody tries to.
Well, I
use an
shut down the
Elasticsearch
servers.
instance. Yes.
I'm going to shut down the server, but
yeah, just the safety notice applies.
yeah,
we expose the credentials. Please don't abuse it.
I use the same username password everywhere. Is it a problem?
We are not here today to discuss that, so I don't go there.
Okay.
All right, I'm very happy about the results so far.
Okay.
And
so
I think the same idea we used in the Elasticsearch module could be followed with the Kibana and the metric beat modules as well. I can continue now if you want, but it
no,
will be fun next time.
No, I have a couple of other things scheduled already. Another live session about the modulations project, modulations-based project, and before that I have to do some other things as well. So thank you very much.
I don't want to give you or call it a homework, but it feels like a good opportunity to finish the Kibana and metric beat modules maybe on your own if you want.
Maybe
if you feel adventurous.
Maybe I'll do it on my own, and then next time we can review it. Okay.
Yeah, but both are fine with me. Just I expect that the general structure will be the exact same because the Ansible example structure is also the same. So
okay.
Should be not that far from now.
Okay, good. So thank you very much, and everyone who was listening. Thank you, and please like the video and follow the channel. So thank you, and bye-bye.
Thanks for hosting. See you next time.
Bye-bye.